Hey everyone, I'm actually sitting next to a person who's got a Master's in Suicidology. Glen Warwork, welcome. Firstly, is there such a thing as a Master's in Suicidology?
Yeah, sure. It's one that not a lot of people are aware of.
Yeah.
And I did that a few years back when I was starting to work more and more in the space of suicide prevention, and that's offered through Griffith University and the Australian Institute of Suicide Research and Prevention. And it's really provided some good knowledge and confidence that anything that I'm involved with is drawing upon the research, the evidence, and people's lived experiences around what is going to be helpful in preventing suicide, strategies for engaging where people are experiencing suicidal thoughts or behaviours, as well as when people have experienced suicide around supporting the loss.
So how was the program developed?
Marcus Mission?
Yeah.
We were approached by a family who had lost one of their family members, Marcus, to suicide. He was 23 at the time when he died by suicide. And the family wanted to draw upon their experience with their thoughts of what might have made a difference to Marcus, but also what will hopefully make a difference to a lot of other young men. So we pulled together their thoughts and their experiences around, as well as the research and evidence, and what we came up with was a program that has 3 core elements, where we provide suicide prevention training to whole of communities, particularly targeting communities that are engaging with young men aged 18 to 44, so your sports clubs, your community groups, your churches, etc. And then we are also offering resilience building workshops directly to young men, 18 to 44-year-olds, so they can have the skills and tools around resilience and optimism, so they're more equipped to deal with stressful life events. And the third part is providing trained volunteer mentors that connect with young men that are experiencing challenges or maybe some struggles that they would like to have someone walk alongside with them for a year, catching up once a week for a couple of hours and just spending a bit of time connecting and understanding what might be happening for them.
And you've already run some of these workshops, haven't you?
Yeah, we've run some of the resilience building workshops and we've run plenty of the suicide prevention training workshops.
Yeah.
The suicide prevention training the particular training that we deliver has been around since 1995. It's endorsed by national peak bodies. There's plenty of research and evidence. It gets regularly updated, and we've delivered that under Wesley Mission Queensland for a few years now. And it's an amazing training program in a half-day or full-day versions.
What's the feedback been like?
Amazing. We ask everyone to do pre and post workshops, that surveys that are connected with the enrolment process, and it actually shows us people's skills, knowledge and confidence prior to the workshop as well as after, and significant increases in the skills and tools that people walk away to practically be able to recognise if someone's experiencing some challenges, to know how to open up the conversations and what questions you can ask, and then what action can you take from that dialogue that comes up.
I noticed one of the things that you said, this program's aimed for people between the ages, men between the ages of 18 and 44. Who else would it be aimed at?
So it's a whole of community program. So there's specific elements like the resilience building workshops and the mentoring that's available to the young men, 18 to 44, but it's also for the whole of community to connect and engage with the suicide prevention training workshops, so that they can be more equipped to recognise when someone's struggling, as well as mentors of any age, 25 plus, that would like to support young men.
What would be the barrier for a person who might be watching this and then they say, you know, this might be something that could benefit me? What would be a barrier that stops that person from attending?
Yeah, for the resilience building workshops, I think for a lot of young men in particular, some barriers to accessing services in general. That we know that a lot of guys won't necessarily reach out to your more formal counselling type services. So this is really structured so that it's engaging, it's connecting. We'll throw a few footballs around, we'll have some dialogue about some content that we're going to explore, and then we do it in a really interactive way in short, sharp workshops so that the guys can come and access those, and it's really authentic, genuine, and we've got an amazing facilitator, and we're going to be training more facilitators in the not too distant future that can really connect and provide that content that people can walk away with practical skills to manage whatever might come up in life's challenges.
Talk to me how it's done in a safe space, in a safe area where I'm not going to feel like I'm going to be judged, or I'm not going to feel like that I'm going to be one of those people that's going to be pointed out at. How do you develop something like that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. For the mentors, we provide them with some training around both the suicide prevention training and the orientation training to become a mentor. We're also looking for people that already have the non-judgmental qualities. For the suicide prevention training, we've got some really good foundations that we lay out at each workshop. For the resilience building workshops, we really connect and engage people with what the expectations are, empower people to be a little bit vulnerable, and break down some of those barriers and challenges that a lot of people have. And through the workshops that we've delivered so far, some of the feedback of the most powerful part of the workshop was that guys really opened up. And it's done in a way that allows people to open up and have dialogue and share what they're comfortable sharing, but also not being judged by anyone that they're sharing with.
Is there laughter throughout the program?
Yeah, we bring in a lot of humour and a lot of fun. It's not done in your traditional kind of way that people might imagine, where it's all sit down and books and everything like that. There's elements of sitting down and getting some information, but then also people are encouraged to play a bit of ping pong while discussing it, or throw a football around, or whatever it might be, while chatting about some of the content that they've...
Because men and boys predominantly, and maybe I'm just projecting here, but we kind of suppress all of those emotions that we have, and it's been this stigma in the past that if I talk about it, I'm seen as one of these weak individuals. How do you overcome that?
That's really good comment, that a lot of guys do perceive it as weak to break down, to open up and be vulnerable. And through providing some content around educating people around the benefits of emotional intelligence and what it actually achieves by being able to share what's going on for you in a safe setting where other people are also sharing, and then taking those tools away so that you can also apply that in other settings, around building the confidence and the skills to actually share how you're feeling or what might be going on. But in saying that, it's not all about fluffy feeling kind of stuff. It's about walking away with real practical skills of your own self-awareness, feeling confident about using assertive skills, feeling confident about how you're managing relationships, what's working, what's not working, and then using those skills in other areas of your life.
I'm always interested in, regardless of a training program that's run or some sort of workshop that's run, is once the program's finished, what happens after that? Is it, thanks very much, well, good luck, we'll see you wherever? What's the process after? How do we continue support?
Yeah, so really good question. And what we're looking at for any workshops that we deliver is what are the local groups that are available in those communities, particularly the men's groups. We've had people that we're inviting along to come along from those men's groups, so people are participating and saying, hey, I'm actually involved in this group that gets together on a Tuesday night, and if you're interested in coming along to this group, great. We're also providing people with options and developing some resources that people will have online available to them, so they can get little refresher videos, snippets, tools, reminders, and be part of a much bigger network and community that's connecting in with Marcus Mission, so that we can keep people connected, as well as some of them might choose to go on and become mentors and really stay involved with the program as well.
That's a great idea. So some of them may have already the skills that they want to continue the program on, and then provide support for others that may come into the program. Has that already been flagged as something that you would like to encourage people who have done the program to do?
Most definitely. And for we've got some of our existing mentors that the early stages of just coming on board, that they've attended the resilience building workshops as well. They're then in a position to connect with their mentees, people being mentored, pass on some of that knowledge and skills, but also invite them back to some workshops that are being scheduled and say, hey, do you want to come along together and go and attend the next session of workshops that are being offered, and actually engage in some of that skill building together, where people can go, well, how are you going with some of those things that you learned about last week? Are you applying any of that in different areas of your life, and how's that working for you?
Great. I'm thinking, I'd like you to use your visionary skills here. I'd like you to think 5 years down the track, 10 years, 20 years down the track.
Yep.
Marcus' mission has been running now for, say, let's say 20 years. Yep. What do you think the impact will be? What will it look like?
The overall impact that we're working towards is reducing the risk of suicide. So we want to see those raw numbers of suicides. We know that about 3/4 of deaths that occur are men that die by suicide. There's staggering statistics and figures around Queensland, where we had 800 deaths in 2017. 3/4 of those were men. And we want to bring down those numbers, as well as empowering local communities to be more connected, to have more resources, more knowledge, more skills and support, and build their capacity, not just for the individuals, but for the whole community.
From your experience, may I ask, is it targeted? Is suicide targeted to a specific group? And let me explain what I mean. Are there particular types of vulnerabilities that a male may have, that they may be less educated, highly strung, more left brain, more right brain, they're bigger, they're smaller? Is it targeted, or is it non-discriminatory?
Really good question. There are risk factors that will put someone potentially at higher risk, and we know that. But there's also people that die by suicide that wouldn't necessarily tick any of those boxes as far as being at risk. So we know that particularly for men in that 18 to 44 age group, and we did a lot of the research when we were developing the program, where what rates really highly where suicides occur is stressful life events. And that might be a relationship breakdown, conflict, loss of employment, or other challenges that people are experiencing. And we can all experience those challenges at some time. So what we want to do is build the skills and the resilience, so whatever comes our way in life, we've got the tools and the skills and the knowledge to handle those different situations, as well as the suicide prevention training, that if someone does experience some challenges, we've got people in the community that know how to recognise someone might be struggling, open up some conversations, and have mentors available to connect with those guys, so that they can have someone, while they're doing it a bit tougher, to walk alongside them and really connect with them.
People that will attend a workshop, people that will attend people that are going to attend Marcus Mission's workshops, would the likelihood of the success rate be greater than... No, I'll stop there. What I'm trying to say is that what is the success? I don't want to give you what the success rate is, because that's just the number that we pluck out. But I think I want to structure it around what's the likelihood of a person going to... No, just leave that question out.
What are you hoping?
Well, the angle I'm going is that if somebody is sitting here and they're looking at this and they're saying, I really want to go to this. What's the likelihood of them walking out of the workshop saying, I've got a clearer head. My head's a lot clearer. I don't have to go to down this path. I now have a support mechanism in place that's going to help me deal with those issues that are at hand.
Yeah, look.
No, leave that one.
Maybe if the question was, how do we know that resilience, building people's resilience, or building resilience, and we can talk about individuals and community, is going to lead to a reduced risk of suicide?
That's it. From your experience, how do we know that doing something like resilience is going to reduce the impact of suicide?
Yeah, really good question. There's been a lot of research in the past about what are the risk factors that might put someone more vulnerable to potentially dying by suicide. And we've got that, and we've had that for a long time. But like I was mentioning, that there's a lot of people that might experience stressful life events that then die by suicide with none of those other risk factors necessarily happening in their lives. What's really starting to come forward in a lot of the research that we've unpacked is the benefits of resilience, building individual and community resilience, and where we can do that, that's going to reduce the likelihood as being a significant protective factor for both that individual and the community. And we've got some research and some evidence that we've got available on our website, which we'd love for people to have a little bit of a look at that. And that really does unpack that evidence base that we're tapping into when we're offering these programs.
In a workplace setting, you tend to get an organisation that will say, we're going to match you up with a mentor to be able to improve yourself on your skills, your characteristics and your personal attributes. That's in a workplace. How do you match someone in this environment where you're going to grab a specific mentor with a person who's going to be a participant in your workshop? How do we do that?
Yeah, sure. So the first steps is really getting to know the mentors well as the people that are sticking up their hand saying, yeah, you know what, I reckon I might be able to benefit and take something away from connecting with someone for the next 12 months. So for people to reach out and stick their hand up, that can take a bit of courage to say, hey, I'm interested in exploring that. So the first thing we encourage is pick up the phone, have a chat with us. It's all really informal around just saying, all right, tell us about what might be, how's things travelling for you? What do you think you might like to achieve? And tell us a bit about yourself. And then from that information, we might have someone that's got a particular interest or passion and or a trade that they're working in, and we go, well, you know, we've got someone else that's also working in that industry, and he's also interested in, you know, gym workouts or throwing a ball around, or might be someone that's got a real passion for art or music, and ideally we want to bring together people that have some level of common interest. So it's not too fake or phony about that it's actually genuine. We introduce people and say, look, if it doesn't work out and you don't feel the connection, hey, no problem, we'll explore other options. No offence to either party, and we'll kind of take a step back and try and explore another connection or match. But we're pretty confident with the mentors that we've got. They're the type of people that can really connect well with almost anyone. But we'll do our best to find those common areas of connection.
Marcus took his life a few years ago now, and hence the name Marcus Mission. You must be really proud of what you've achieved to date, and we're only a few years down the track. Tell me a little bit about the achievements that you've had, what you're really proud of, maybe the area that you think has given you some great hope for the future.
Yep. Really proud and excited about the connections with the family and community that had the experience of the loss of Marcus, as well as other people that have experienced loss, and tapping into that lived experience. Also proud of pulling together the research and the evidence around what might make a difference for young men, and where are the gaps of what's currently being offered to young men and to communities. Then through there, really excited about the program that we've really streamlined it to the three elements of the program: the suicide prevention training for whole of communities, the mentoring for young men 18 to 44, and the resilience building for young men as well 18 to 44 again. Also excited about starting to roll out the program, where we've delivered lots of suicide prevention training to lots of different communities and people connected in with sports groups, music groups, church groups, etc. Want to see more people coming on board for that. We've got more trainers trained up now to also meet the demand for offering those free workshops to communities. We're really excited about the resilience building workshops. they're making a difference. The feedback's really positive from the men that are engaging in it, and we're excited about the Train the Trainer program to get more resilience building trainers available for communities around Gold Coast to Bundaberg, and the mentoring being rolled out in different areas that at the time of this video it's available on the Gold Coast. It's just about to get rolled out in Bundaberg, and then it'll be other areas around Gold Coast to Bundaberg and inland surrounds over the coming years. That's so excited, and the funds that people have raised through the trek, through donations, that's all enabling us to roll out the program wider and wider. So really encourage people to get in touch with us, connect in with us and say, yeah, I'm interested in a workshop for our community, or I'd like to get support or get involved in any way, as well as people that might like to either make a donation or get involved with our annual fundraising trek.
That's important.
And help spread the word.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, is to get involved, and even if it's a small donation. And I think, you know, when I reflect back on maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, these programs weren't available. Weren't available to the extent that what Marcus Mission is trying to achieve, where you're getting a mentor base helping out, you know, the participants in the workshop. And that, of course, would be providing you with some, you know, with some great feedback of what people are doing. And of course, you know, John's story is one that really kicked that off. Is there any last thoughts that you may want to, you know, while I've got you here, that you may want to say, get involved, support us, be a part of this, or spread the word? You know, is that really important for you?
Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants to touch base with us, either flick us an email, give us a phone call. We can connect with you, with your community, support you with what you need for your community through what's offered under Marcus Mission, but we've also got flexibility to really hear what's going on for specific communities and tailor things for that community to make sure that it's really meaningful for whatever issues are going on in local communities.
And this isn't the only opportunity that you get to hear Glen speak with what we're doing here today. If you've got any questions and you want to reach out, your email address is available, or at least the website. You can contact them through the website. Make a phone call, reach out, just ask a simple question, and you'd be available, or your team would be available to answer some of those questions. So it doesn't just stop here. Reach out. The numbers will be on the screen, or they'll be in the description. And from here on, what's your overall vision?
Yeah, we want to really build strong and resilient communities and have lots of people that are connecting in with each other, building the skills to manage life's challenges, which we all come across challenges at different times, but being more connected and more supportive and having options available to be proactive, so that when we come across challenging periods that we're already really well equipped, but also having the responses and supports available for when people inevitably come up with different challenges in their life.
Great to have you here. So reach out, support, share if you can this video to loved ones and friends. Glen Warwork, great to have you here.
Thanks very much,
You're
Daryl.
welcome.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate your time.